The following is a Joel Michalec production. On November 13th, Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. She asked him to leave because he wouldn't listen to the Joel Michalec Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Joel Michalec Show. It's nice to have you all here on this week's podcast, and I am joined by two women today.
Yes, you're very lucky today.
Sharon and Molly. Molly, the world's most famous miniature schnauzer, is on Sharon's lap.
Yes.
And I don't know.
It's funny. We came in here.
She was sleeping.
She was sound asleep. We came in here to do the show, and
here she is.
Here she is.
Yep.
Not to be left out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing about it. Not to be left out. So
exactly.
The website to be at is joelmichalec.com. And if you're there, or when you go there, you hit subscribe and you can join the show and get all the shows and past episodes and stay on top of it with your favorite player. Right, Molly? So iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever your poison is, you can hear us on there. Just subscribe to the show. Also find us at Facebook at JM Talk and on Twitter at WQYB Radio. I bring good news.
Oh, yeah?
I'm bringing good news to the show today.
Yay.
A study had come out now a while ago, probably like a year ago, but it's making new rounds across some certain food sites that eating ice cream for breakfast can make you smarter.
What?
Yes.
Oh, no, we're going to get gallons of ice cream. I'm not a breakfast person, but hey, I could be.
So, Tokyo's Kyorin University, I hope I said that right, did a study saying eating ice cream first thing in the morning actually makes you smarter. Now, the study consisted of test subjects in clinical trials where they were required to eat ice cream right after waking up, and then did a series of mental exercises on computers. The control group, which was unfortunately the group that didn't get to eat ice cream in the most unfair study, showed slower reaction times and worse information processing capabilities than the lucky ones who had eaten delicious ice cream before taking the test.
Wow.
So
I guess all that sugar that's in ice cream would wake me up and
exactly,
therefore make me smarter.
And you hit the nail on the head without even knowing about it, because I'm surprising you with this stuff. Katie Barfoot, a nutritional psychology doctoral researcher, says that a possible explanation is the simple presence of consuming breakfast versus not consuming breakfast. In other words, she says that our brain needs glucose to function. So on a high glucose meal, such as ice cream, will aid in mental capacity considerably faster than that compared to a brain that had regular breakfast. So sure, the influx of
wait, what is regular breakfast? Like orange juice and
non-sugar bacon and
cereal,
eggs, maybe eggs no bakey.
Okay.
Cereal, but you think about the high content of the sugar, the glucose involved in ice cream.
Yeah. Wow.
So now that's not good news for diabetics.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And of course,
but it is good news for me because I'm not. Yay.
So this Katie Barfoot also goes on to say that the findings of this study do not condone eating ice cream for breakfast.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's obvious.
So,
however, I might have to give that a try. That is one test I think I might like.
Really? Well, you don't have to test it. The test has been done.
No, I mean, but do my own study here, at the Michalec house.
The Michalec study?
The Michalec study.
Get the name right.
Oh, whatever.
So, okay, so last week we ran out of time on the topics that we had lined up, which is a good thing. It's a good thing when we run out of time and we get the reserved topics for another week. But you actually had this interesting story about a guy, Molly, knocking my microphone around. Let me readjust here. About this guy who died of heart disease just hours after he was turned away from a hospital.
Right.
So
super, super sad story.
So here's the lowdown on it. Here's the information about it. And this happened the week before Christmas. Spendy, Rusatovsky, I should have practiced this, but I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And his wife went to the Ascension Southeast Wisconsin's hospital in Franklin because he was experiencing chest pains. There was reason to be worried because in July, the 46-year-old auto repair shop owner had surgery to insert stents. Which typically are used to help open arteries and reduce the chance of a heart attack. So during this December 17th visit to the Franklin Hospital, a sonogram test was ordered for the chest pains, and it revealed an issue, and his primary doctor wanted to admit him in the hospital due to the serious nature of the results of the sonogram. However, there were no beds available.
Well,
so interestingly enough,
here's a situation where instead of someone being told, nope, you don't have a problem, they did have a problem, and a serious one.
Right. And we can attest to this kind of situation because, the local hospital here, any time you go to the ER or you go into the hospital for anything, you will spend hours in the hallway.
Yeah.
I mean,
unfortunately, my last visit to the ER was spent how many hours in the hallway?
Okay,
12, 13 hours in the hallway. And then I got a little room.
But actually, it wasn't even,
it wasn't really a room.
It was just an ER room, so to speak.
Yeah, right, where you have curtains instead of walls. But, it was. And then I spent, another 5 hours there?
Yeah.
So I totally understand the situation with this guy.
We got home at
4 a.m.
4 a.m. We went in there about 1 p.m. the previous day.
Yeah.
And, but, so this guy gets sent home. Yeah. And then, because there were no beds.
There's no beds, right.
Yeah. And then later that night, about 9 o'clock, he goes out to get soda.
Right.
And he winds up having an episode because of the symptoms.
And he was at a gas station getting his soda.
And he ends up driving off the road and getting trapped in their SUV and ends up dying.
Right.
So
sadly.
Yes, very sadly. So then when I think about this story and I think about situations that we've experienced, and one of the things that is always constant when we go to the hospital is every time we go there, it's bigger. Like they keep building.
The hospital that we go to is expanding all the time.
Right. Well, lately it seems like they're building nothing but parking.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to build more parking to accommodate people coming to the hospital, you have to accommodate the people
at the hospital
as well.
Exactly.
So this story really isn't anything new, and I think that most people in most areas can relate to the same situation with their own hospital.
Tragically, yeah.
It begs to say, what are you exactly expanding? Hospital systems get bigger. They buy out smaller systems. I mean, Christiana healthcare in this area is larger than it was when we came here 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But for what purpose? We were there not too long ago, and we spent 15, 16 hours in there and didn't move, but from the hallway to a small curtained area.
Right.
Curtained.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your English is spot on today.
So as healthcare systems buy up property and put up buildings. What is that really doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm surprised they don't charge for parking to get more money.
Well, they don't charge for parking because it costs you $800 for an aspirin.
I know, but
in the
still,
hospital. So that's why they give
another $250 for parking. Whatever.
So that's what, but that's why they don't charge for parking. You're charged just for entering the damn building.
Right.
At least you can park there for free.
Yeah.
So and as far as this story goes, the Milwaukee County Examiner's Office, they got records from the hospital as part of their investigation. The medical examiner's report said that the man was turned away from the hospital, but the report doesn't provide more detail about his visit there or the results of the sonogram. So interesting. You're trying to do an investigation, and this is another bothersome thing about the story. So they're trying to do an investigation, and where's the test results? It's like, what is going on here that the file is incomplete? Again, all the people hospitals hire and all the expansion they're doing. Why can't you get something right? People's health care is not something that you can play around with.
Exactly. I know. I agree. I agree 1,000,000%.
And I just can't believe this guy was turned away with those kinds of results
right.
when the primary care physician wanted him admitted.
Right. I mean, they could have taken the person that just had the sniffles out of a bed.
Right. But, even if they kept him in the hallway, because we know that's done, right? We know firsthand that that's done. Even if they kept him in the hallway, he'd be under some sort of care. He would be in a facility.
He would be under observation, right.
And in a facility that had the tools necessary should something have happened.
Right.
Where in this case it did. So, the family has retained an attorney to investigate. Good.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the investigation is ongoing. And the attorney says that they are further investigating the facts and circumstances preceding and surrounding the unfortunate and tragic demise of Mr. Rusatowski. Also, in a statement, a spokesperson for Ascension, that's the hospital, declined to comment, citing privacy laws. So the Ascension facility in Franklin was licensed to a capacity of 52 beds. That's got to be a small hospital. However, maybe Christiana only has 52 beds. I don't know.
Okay, the reason we're laughing is because Christiana is a huge hospital. Huge. And has more than, I'd say, 800 beds.
But yet there's nowhere for anyone to go.
Because they have people that are being admitted for sniffles.
Not so much being admitted, but the problem is
that's the problem that
they're using the emergency room.
Found.
Yeah, but they're using the emergency room. People use the emergency room for things that they really should go to these medical aid units.
Yeah, or go to their family doctor for. They use emergency rooms as family doctors.
Well,
and that is sad. That is real sad. Because they don't have insurance and the hospital cannot turn them away.
Right.
However, a doctor's office can.
I don't know if the medical aid units can. That's where,
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the medical aid units. I'm just talking about a hospital. Cannot turn away patients because they cannot afford to pay for it.
Right.
So,
but that's why
doctors' offices can. That's why these people use the emergency room as a doctor's office.
Right. I get all that. What I'm saying is they need to use the medical aid units for the doctor's offices.
Yeah.
And let the emergency rooms.
The medical aid units aren't going to just take care of them and send them home. They're going to take care of them and send them to the ER. You know for a fact they do that because they did it to me.
Well, they had to do it for you, but if someone comes in with sniffles, they won't, send up to the ER.
All right. You have a point there.
So, the case raises questions of federal regulations. Under the law, patients cannot be transferred or turned away, as Sharon has just pointed out, from a hospital until they are stabilized. It's called the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act. and was passed in 1986 to prevent patient dumping. So it'll be interesting to see what the results of this investigation is, even though the story is a little bit dated now because it was about a month ago. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything follow. That's the problem, with the news media. If you're going to put a story out there
like this,
right?
Update it.
That's going to continue. Get updates out. The way you found this story, we haven't seen any updates on that.
No, I haven't.
I find that more than ever, I always wonder what is going to happen with that story. And you never get updates. They don't shoot the updates out like they shoot the regular stories out.
The only way you're going to get updates is if you physically call these news outlets that you received this information from to begin with.
Well, that's your job from now on.
No,
you call. You say you're from the Joel Michalec Show, and you want an update.
I want an update.
You'll probably hear a whole lot of clicks.
Yeah, the what?
It'll be worth trying and probably fun to experience.
Yeah, right. Maybe not so much.
So the reality of it is we'll probably never hear what happened unless we go digging for any result after that, because that's what it all is these days. Breaking news. This was breaking news when we got it, and it's not breaking news anymore.
Yeah, because somebody farted down the street, so now, hey,
right.
Who cares about this person that died? Lost his life because a hospital turned him away.
Right.
They didn't have any beds.
Sad reality.
Very, very sad.
It makes you wonder, and it's can communities come together and do mutual aid with as far as hospitals? I don't know.
I hear you.
Something has to be done. So coming up later on the show, of course, is our Wombat of the Week, which will also tell you how to get involved with that. We have a new one this week, and it's a doozy. Plus, a twist on Honor Thy Heroes, not just honoring a hero this week. So on the Honor Thy Heroes segment, which comes up later on, you'll find out more about that, too. It'll be very, very interesting. And we're under watchful eye. Molly is now going out to watch the snow falling.
Yeah, we have a lot of snow out there right now.
We do. We have a couple inches. I think it's our first. Well, it's obviously our first snow, let alone first big one of 2019.
Well, yeah, but we did have one in 2018.
Right. When? I don't remember.
Yeah, I do. It wasn't, but maybe
this season,
an inch and a half.
This season.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise you.
Because I'm telling you.
But it was so insignificant, you don't remember.
Well, yeah. It's interesting. when it warms up and rains, we get like 2 inches of rain.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten, and I said we're going to get hurt by that fact, all this moisture. But now it's cold enough to snow, and we're getting like 3 inches. It's insane.
No, I think there's more than 3 inches out there.
Well, it's not 12. When it rains, we get an inch or 2 inches of rain. And now it's snowing, and we're getting minute amounts of the moisture stuff.
I don't think it's minute.
Minute.
It's not.
Do you think it's significant?
I think it's like maybe 4 to 6 inches out there. No, that's not, significant in the whole scheme of things. But for us...
Well, back in the day, we used to walk in, 27 inches to go to school. Everything was open.
In bare feet.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So stay tuned for more coming up, and then later on, Wombat of the Week. We'll be back right after this quick break.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Broadcasting from a crummy little studio in Baltimore, Maryland. This is Reality One Radio.
You see why we need your donations?
Welcome back to the Joel Michalec Show, everybody. I'm here with the lovely Sharon.
Yay.
And welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
JoelMichalec.com, that's the website. Facebook is JM Talk, and Twitter is WQYB Radio. So there are the various ways you can get a hold of us. Also, you can email us here at the show at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. So coming up later on the show, Wombat of the Week, Honor Thy Heroes, the usual weekly stuff. And but right now, a couple other things on the docket. I'm full of surprises for you today on the show.
I love surprises.
Because today, guess what dropped today?
What?
The 2019...
You mean besides the snow outside?
The 2019 Celebrity Big Brother cast dropped this morning.
I know of one.
And it's
but that's all I know.
It's a list of nobodies.
What?
Yeah. Well,
No.
let's see. Jonathan Bennett.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Tamar Braxton.
Isn't that Tammy Braxton's sister or something like that?
Who's Tammy Braxton?
Or she was a singer in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, she's 41.
Tony.
She could be that.
It was Tony Braxton, not Tammy.
I don't know. This one is Tamar.
Okay.
Let's see here. Candy Burris.
Okay.
Tom Green. We know Tom Green, comedian.
Yeah.
Lolo Jones, Olympic track and bobsled star.
Okay.
Ooh, big celebrity there. Kato Kalin, actor and host, whoever he is. Joey Lawrence.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah, from Blossom, right?
Yeah.
Ryan Lochte. 12-time Olympic medalist for swimming.
Wow.
Big celebrity there. Dina Lohan.
So rude.
Dina Lohan, Lindsay's mother.
Oh, okay.
Former WWE wrestler and actress Natalie Eva Marie. Whatever.
Okay.
Anthony Scaramucci, former White House Director of Communications.
Wow.
Ricky Williams, former NFL superstar. And that's it. That's the that's the list of celebrities. Celebrities, and I use that term loosely.
No, come on now. They are celebrities in their own right.
I'm a celebrity in my own right.
Yeah, but you have to be a celebrity that everybody knows, not just you.
I know me as a celebrity. You know me as a celebrity, and Molly knows me as a celebrity.
Well, yeah, okay.
So,
and everyone listening knows you as a celebrity. I have a hard time with that word.
why is it I feel like I'd rather watch this with nobody? Like the regular.
Because they hype up in your mind, celebrity means,
Tom
Jennifer
Cruise,
Aniston.
Sure.
Right. But they're not getting that quality. I'm messing it up.
The nobodies are better quality than the celebrities they get.
Yeah, but because the celebrities that they get is not what you think they're going to be.
I mean, last year...
So that's why it's disappointing to you.
Last year they had a podcaster as a celebrity.
Right. Well, maybe someday.
No, I would
Big
never
Brother
do that
will
show.
Say to you,
I would never do Big Brother. Hello, CBS. I would never do that show.
Okay, so I don't think we're fit enough.
Yeah, for starters. But so if you think of them as not celebrities, though, maybe you can get through the show. But I don't know. We tried last year. We tried to watch it. We didn't get very far.
Yeah, but I do want to try and watch it this year.
Okay, well, it'll start Sunday the 21st, 2-night special event.
Right.
Sunday night the 21st and Monday night the 22nd.
Right.
So 2-night. You got that, Molly? 2 nights. Yes.
Okay, so I have to tell you this little story, everyone. I just came in from walking Molly, and she loves the snow. She really does. She's going to be a very old dog very soon, but she still loves it, and she bounces around in the snow like she's a puppy.
Yeah.
And she was doing that for me just now outside. And the way her fur is, we put a coat on her, and a sweater and
a dress
and a boots
tap
and
shoes.
She gets
dressed to the nines.
Yeah, dressed to the nines when it comes to the snow. However, this time I did not put her boots on her, so she got snowballs on her legs.
Yeah, that's
true snowballs on her legs. The fur just collected all the snow and made little balls on her.
Schnauzers are famous for it.
Yeah. So she has these little snowballs on her legs, and I feel bad for her because I see one leg shiver just a tiny bit.
Right.
Didn't mean she was cold. In my mind, she was. She was freezing. And I'm trying to get the snowballs off, and I'm like, ding, 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 an idea. Why don't we get the blow dryer out and blow dry the snowballs off her legs?
Right.
So we did.
That's what we did.
That's what we did on our little break. We blow dried the snowballs off our dog's legs.
Yep.
That's how spoiled this dog is.
Well, I think most people spoil their dogs.
Yeah, but I don't
their
think
fur babies.
They do, absolutely.
But you think we spoil ours the maximum?
Yeah, I
Maximus spoiled.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This child.
I'll either make up words on this show or I'll just trip over all of them. That's what I'll do, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess Big Brother's coming up.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I really am.
I just don't feel excited. Like I would feel more excited if it was the regular season with a cast of nobodies. And I think some of the cast members that they've had on regular seasons have gone on to become bigger celebrities than these people. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
Big Brother has made regular people into celebrities, and then, and Anthony Scaramucci, really? A celebrity? Okay. All right. Moving on. So, saw this story this week, and I said, I'm so happy that people just continue to give us stuff to talk about on this podcast.
Right.
For instance, this Phoenix woman from Arizona, Jacqueline Aids, accused of stalking a man she met on a dating site and sending him more than 65,000 text messages. However, after the records were opened up and discovered, it was more like 159,000 plus in a matter of 10 months. So if you do the math,
wow.
If you do the math, that's about 530 texts per day.
Wow. That's obsessive.
Oh, I thought that was just commitment.
No, that's obsessive.
So she sent more than 159,000 text messages, some of which were life-threatening, over the course of nearly 10 months. These two went on one single date.
Wow. Just one date.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She is committed to that relationship.
Well, you can look at it that way, or that she is deranged.
So she has pled not guilty to charges of stalking and criminal trespassing, meaning that she has, while he was away out of the country, she broke into his house.
Wow.
And she was arrested inside the house because he has one of those surveillance systems that allows him to watch from anywhere,
Yeah.
And so he saw her, got the alert, I guess, saw her on his cell phone in the house, called the police, and when the police got there, they found her in his house taking a bath.
Oh, my God.
And she also showed up at his work. She sent one text that read, "I'd make sushi out of your kidneys and chopsticks out of your hand bones."
Okay.
Yeah.
And he didn't see this on the one date that he went on with her.
Well, maybe that's why it only went one date.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have had one date had I known that this person was like. Well,
I believe that it started on one of those websites. So, I mean,
wow.
Everybody can lie on the internet.
Yeah,
I'm the most famous podcaster in the world on my page.
I know so many people that have met their significant others on the website. And it's an old thing by now. And
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It really is. And it's not, I mean, what am I trying to say? It's so common now, you know, but it still bothers me. Yeah. I don't feel that you can find your significant other on a website. You and I met traditionally.
Right.
You know? And thankfully so. I said to your sister...
Well, I could be a rare internet find.
Well, yeah, you are, but back when we met, the internet wasn't this big thing. You know? Yeah.
Just think the 90s were 20 years ago.
I know. That's insane.
Even more insane is when I think of how long ago the 70s were and the 80s were.
And the 60s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's an example of one of the texts that she sent. In a police interview, she seemed to understand that the man didn't want to be with her. And she says, it's okay, that's how he feels. Somebody else should love him. He has so much love. He's so cute. I can't believe I scared him.
What? That doesn't even make sense, that statement.
159,000 texts.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, her trial, whether she pleaded guilty, she pleaded not guilty, but her trial will begin on February 5th. Another story that we may never see the outcome of, but it would be interesting.
I don't get. It's insane.
Maybe we don't want to see the outcome of this case.
Yeah.
But crazy.
That's like this one, the Jodi Arias case. You remember that case where they were dating and he broke it off and she said, I don't think so.
Yeah, she killed him in the shower, right?
Yeah. And took pictures. Yeah. And thought she could wash the camera and like in a washing machine with your clothes.
Wacko.
And yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If I can't have you, nobody else will.
Which is crazy within itself. Yeah.
Right? That kind of mentality. Wow. I'm sorry. I'd be distraught if you ever said, hey, peace out. But, I don't think I'd be that distraught.
Right.
Where I would threaten your life.
And, I mean, I realize I send you a couple hundred texts a day, but that's because you don't answer any of them. So I'm trying to find out if you're okay.
Answer them. I don't answer them because you send me a couple hundred a day. No, he really doesn't, people. He might send me several. And if I don't respond to him...
then I will call.
He will. He will call me.
I'll find you.
Baby, are you okay?
Not that it...
and it's funny, too, because if I'm with friends during the day, and they see this happening, they're like, oh, my God, you guys are disgusting. Because we love each other so much and we show it. We don't hide it. And
that's their problem.
Right, right. They're like, oh, you're so disgusting. Ew. And I'm like, hey, when you got a good man.
All right.
I had to say that.
Well, you didn't have to, but I appreciate it.
I did. I wanted to say that.
So
yeah, getting back to this story, that's how many thousands of texts?
159,000 plus. Wow. That's the round figure. So I imagine not as many as 160, but certainly not less than 159.
What? Okay.
And this kind of stuff is the reason why we should be building up the mental health facilities and mental health services. Because there are people out there that absolutely need this stuff.
Yeah.
But
that is so true.
Yeah, because obviously there is something, and she doesn't see it, so that's another sign. I mean, this lady is obviously mentally disturbed and needs help to stabilize whatever her mental problem is. And so this goes back to what I've been saying for years about how they've been destabilizing and deinstitutionalizing all of these types of facilities that deal with mental health. Mm-hmm. And here is the perfect classic story. Sure, we laugh about it a little bit, but the truth of the matter is this woman needs help, and people like her need help.
And she's scary. I mean, if that were happening to me, where someone was sending me, hundreds of texts a day, that would be super scary. I'm sorry. I would be terrified.
Yeah.
And that is no way to live. It really isn't.
And he went through it for almost a year.
Wow.
I bet you he doesn't date online anymore.
I bet you.
He's
probably a priest by now.
So, coming down to the wire here, but just enough time maybe to mention this pretty interesting factoid that you had looked up, that you had found coming across your. I don't know why you love MSN, but whatever.
I get the weirdest stories on MSN.
Right.
That's why I go there.
And today one came across sort of like of what happened 100 years ago in Boston.
In 1919.
Yeah, in Boston,
right.
January 15th, 2.3 million gallons of molasses had exploded out of its holding thing and whatever, and causing the great molasses flood of Boston of 1919.
Yeah, and
it killed 21 people and more than 150 were injured, and I just don't understand why we don't know about that. It's such a sweet story.
It is. But the funny thing about the title of this story is, "Oh my God, run, the day a deadly wave of molasses tore through Boston."
Yeah, that almost sounds like an alien invasion.
Right, but oh my God, run. No, you just have to walk, saunter. You don't have to run because molasses moves so slowly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, even with the amount of molasses going through this town, you're running from the blob, that kind of thing.
I can't fathom 2.3 million gallons of molasses.
Exactly.
I mean, in 1919, that must have been one hell of a commodity to have on hand.
And this story was a story in the Washington Post from January 15th, 1919. And it turned out that the temperature on this day had soared to 40 degrees.
Right. So how fast can molasses go even in cold temperatures?
Right,
Because that is still relatively cold temperatures.
Right. So,
interesting.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Well, I've always said it, and there's not enough history being discussed. And that's just a great story from history. It's not it's not that you have to talk about wars and the Cold War and bad things. I mean, that's a bad thing that happened, but it's
for this town.
It's a neato thing.
Yeah, can you imagine the cleanup?
Yeah, neato and a Speedo.
Neato and the not Speedo.
Yeah, the cleanup must have been slow and aggravated.
Oh yeah,
and bad for diabetics.
Right. I bet you that's how diabetes started.
It may have. We should look into that.
Yeah, we should. But on a somewhat serious note, I wonder if they're still finding deposits.
Maybe.
Of molasses from this.
It could be possible. That's a
tragic day.
Yeah, that's a lot of molasses.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to slowly get out of here then for break. And when we come back, honor thy heroes, Wombat of the Week, right here on the Joel Michalec Show. We'll be right back.
All right, bye-bye.
So I use my computer every day. I'm not even sure how I get along without it. But I wasn't prepared for a virus. A Trojan, they called it. One night I'm cruising along, and the next night I can't do anything. I was afraid it was going to cost me a fortune. Boy, was I surprised. They had me back up and running the same day I called them. I really like PC Tech Rescue, and you know what? My wallet likes them too.
Are you troubled by computer problems? PC Tech Rescue should be your very next call. Whether the problem is viruses, hardware, software, or any other issue, they can diagnose your problem and have you back up and running fast. With more than 25 years of industry experience, you can be sure you are getting dependable and affordable service. Call today, 484-429-6061, or email us at pctechrescue@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Joel Michalec Show, folks. I'm Joel Michalec, and glad you're here. JoelMichalec.com, that is the website. Also on Facebook at JM Talk, and on Twitter at WQYB Radio. So that's where you can reach out to us on social media all over the internet. And in this segment, we call The Last Stretch. We covered two main things, one being the Wombat of the Week, and of course, soon after that, we honor heroes in our Honor Thy Heroes segment. But first, as far as the Wombat of the Week goes, what is it? So if you're a new listener to the show, it's basically we find lots of it, but we pick a story from the internet, from the news of stupid people doing stupid things, and we post it, where we put it out there on the show and call it the Wombat of the Week. Now, you can get involved in this. It doesn't just have to be us looking for the stories. You can join in on all the fun of Wombat of the Week by submitting your Wombat of the Week story to the show. Simply email the link to a news story of stupid people doing stupid things to wombat@joelmichalec.com. Or you can also send it to joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. And other ways you can submit it, you can send it to us through a direct message on Facebook at JM Talk. So you can get your story in for the voting. And a lot of stories get held over because they're so good. They may not become the Wombat of the Week for this week, but they could become the Wombat of the Week for another week. So that's how that works. And so away we go with this week's. Now, on the last program, we talked about briefly the movie BirdBox and these BirdBox challenges, which are really idiotic, where people are blindfolding themselves and doing everyday things and filming themselves, walking around, trying to do things around the house. But the BirdBox challenge takes a different twist now and leads to a car crash and possible charges for a Utah teenager. This is the absolute stupidity of it all. So this happens in Layton, Utah. Police say a teenager participating in the latest viral challenge, the BirdBox challenge, is responsible for a crash on Layton Parkway and will face reckless driving charges. Layton police tweeted two photos of the crash, which they say occurred on Monday. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. This kid got lucky. BirdBox challenge while driving, predictable result, according to the department's statement. This happened on Monday as a result of the driver covering her eyes while driving on the Layton Parkway. Police said they did not learn about the story behind Monday's crash until Friday. The BirdBox challenge, as I said, taking its name from a recent Netflix movie in which the characters must remain blindfolded. Lieutenant Travis Lyman from the Layton Police said the 17-year-old girl driving the pickup truck was with a 16-year-old boy when she decided to attempt the BirdBox challenge and used a beanie as an impromptu blindfold. The driver veered into oncoming traffic and struck a passenger car. Honestly, I'm almost embarrassed to have to say don't drive with your eyes covered, but apparently we do have to say that, according to Lyman. He also says the stakes are just so high, and it's just such a potentially dangerous thing as it is to try and do it in a way that is inexcusable. It really puts everybody at risk. Police are recommending reckless driving charges in the case, but it will be up to the county's attorney general's office to determine what charges, if any, are filed. Now, see, there has to be charges filed in this case, I believe. And not only reckless driving, but reckless endangerment. And how about endangering a minor? 2 counts, one for herself and one for the 16-year-old. The 2 words, if any, really bother me, because this is what happens. She goes out and does this idiotic thing, and then at the end of the story it says charges, if any, will be filed. So I guess I get tired of people getting away with things all the time. Like, why would you not charge this person? Because not only did she risk herself and her passenger, but struck another passenger car, veering into the oncoming traffic. You've put other people at risk. It's not fair to any of us that somebody would be this stupid to tie a blindfold around their eyes and drive a car. Why would you do that? I mean, when will humans start acting sensible again? These challenges are crazy and they're dangerous. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to stop the craziness. I really don't know. I don't know what that answer is. I mean, do we just remove everything? I mean, I'm tongue-tied. I'm trying to find the right words. If we, as a society, start saying, well, in order to stop these challenges, BirdBox challenge, Ice Bucket challenge, not that that's as dangerous as others, but Kiki challenge, Tide Pod challenge, all these challenges. If we were to say, hey, let's just go back to the source and stop doing things like that in the source. So let's stop having detergent to wash our clothes. Let's stop having music and movies since these bad ideas come from them. Do you see where we'd be going with this? I mean, that seems like the route, but it's not. Where does it start? I don't even know what to suggest as a starting point on how to straighten people out, because they're not just kids doing it. It's not just kids. There's actual adults that partake in these stupid challenges, doing these stupid things. And then where do you go from there? Because my first thought was bad parenting. Grown-ups have to teach the children. But some of the people doing this stupid stuff are grown-ups. And it kind of takes that out of the equation. So then I don't know where to go. But the answer is not to do what Netflix and Tide are afraid of. Netflix more so. I mean, these companies don't want to be held responsible, and they don't want to see things go away because of the interpretation that people make. And unfortunately, I don't think this will be the last bad story we see about the BirdBox challenge, and I'm afraid that we will see the worst kind of story of the BirdBox challenge. Because as a society, we are apparently a bunch of idiots. So I think that charges should be filed. And more than just a reckless driving thing. I mean, we have to teach people a lesson. We can't just slap people on the hands or not hold them accountable for their actions and hope that things will get better, because they won't. But that's just my 2 cents on it. And that is why this 17-year-old girl becomes the Wombat of the Week. So remember to get your stories in to joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. So we know the news is out there. We see it by the plenty, but we need really good stuff. I hate to say that, because I'm and believe me, I'm not encouraging anyone to create some sort of disastrous news just to send it in. So the next segment that we do each week is Honor Thy Heroes, and this is where we take an opportunity to comb the news and find good stories about police, firefighters, EMS, everyday heroes. And we put it on display. But, this week I sort of want to take the segment and just, last week was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day and National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And so I figured at the end of this week, no particular story in mind, but just recognize all the heroes and recognize all the police for the good they do. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, today, the official date of publication of this podcast is the 13th of January. Now, a couple of days ago on lawenforcementtoday.com, there was an editorial put out by Kyle Reyes entitled, "Our Law Enforcement Officers Are Dying Too Quickly in 2019. And Kyle talked about how on the 11th, as of the 11th, he had noted 5 police officers nationwide, as far as, from seeing from the news and whatnot, 5 officers gone in the line of duty, taken from us. And here on the 13th, I'd have to say that there are at least 2 more. So, and that means the ratio is getting worse already. Kyle points out that, 1 officer taken from us in 2019 would be one too many. I mean, these are people, men and women that are out there to help us. And for various reasons, they're taken like that. And it really concerns me. And it's laying out a bad trend. And I'm concerned about, generally speaking, society out there. Since we started on this venture of honoring thy heroes, of course, I join a lot of groups. I follow a lot of different agencies that promote police news and fire news and EMS news. But as far as the police are concerned, I don't know if it's because since I joined all these different avenues of information that it's just opened my eyes that this has been going on for so long, or is this something recent? I don't have stats in front of me from the last couple of years, but in the last 6 months, we've started relying on so many sources of information that in a way it feels like overload, the amount of officers taken from us. But so today, I just wanted to cover not only the 5 mentioned in Kyle's article, but also since then, the other, 2 that I'm aware of only from the aggregation of news. And so we honor those fallen in the first 13 days of the new year. And here we go. On Saturday, January 5th, Provo Police Department Officer Joseph Shinners was shot and killed while trying to apprehend a fugitive. Monday, January 7th, Coleraine Township Police Officer Dale Woods was struck by a pickup truck while investigating another crash. Tuesday, January 8th, Salt River Police Officer Clayton Townsend was struck by a distracted driver during a traffic stop. Wednesday, January 9th, Shreveport Police Department Officer Shatiri Payne was shot and killed on her way to work. And also on that same day, City of Davis Police Department Officer Natalie Corona was shot and killed while investigating a 3-car crash. And further from the additional to those 5, on today, Birmingham Police Officer Sergeant Watasha Carter was fatally shot in a nightclub shooting, and a second officer of that shooting is critically wounded. And just yesterday, Illinois State Trooper Christopher Lambert was struck and killed by a vehicle during another traffic investigation. So my count is 7 officers down. 7 officers gone inside of 13 days. And this is not a good stat should this progress. And I'm saddened. I'm saddened by it, but it's something that I don't think that people know unless you follow that. I mean, sure, you'll know from your local news, but I'm not sure if people realize just how far spread this is. Distracted driver kills a police officer. A couple of these police officers shot and killed. One by a fugitive. And one, we're waiting for more information on the investigation. On their way to work, shot and killed. What does this say about society? I mean, I know I'm not the only one who worries about this. It makes you worry about going out there amongst society. And so I just thought that for this week on Honor Thy Heroes, this week I'm going to honor all of them. And all law enforcement officers. But I wanted to especially mention the fact that we have so many officers in so little days that have been taken from us, have been taken from their families, have been taken from their families in blue, have been taken from all the people in their community whom they served. It's sad. And this just adds fuel to my fire that says that we need, as a society, we need to love more. We need to come together. As the old song said, come together. Right now. And we need to love again. We need to love each other again. We need to love the people that serve us. The people that protect us. And so I am honoring all heroes this week in the law enforcement arena. And thank you, every one of you, for your service to your communities, to our communities. Thank you. And with that, folks, that about wraps it up for me and the program this week. Remember to check out the show at joelmichalec.com. And from there, you can click the subscribe button and subscribe to your favorite player. If you like the show, please pass it on. Remember, you can hear the replays on Star FM on Friday nights at 6 p.m. and on Sunday nights on 920 WON, The Apple, at 11 p.m., both times Eastern. Until next week, folks, be good to yourselves, love one another, and be good. And we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.